all right. We here on Authentically Dope, right here on Street Uncapped. Boys, what it is? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, man? It's about time, man. It's about time.
Can I be honest with you? It feels so good to have all my boys in one room at the same time.
It's only a pleasure. Only a pleasure.
That's the business. That's the business, guys. Okay, so we're talking about the Street Dance League, right?
Yep.
So this is a new thing, guys. And when I look at us and how far we've come, it's good that there's something fresh, something new. It's something different. But I'll leave you to talk about it. Okay, I'll leave it all to you, Paul. So, what is the Street Dance League? Tell me, what is this Street Dance League?
First and foremost, thank you for having us, Marlon. It's been a long time coming through, and yeah, big ups to Street Uncapped. I think we need more platforms like this for the street dance industry. So big ups on that first and foremost. Round of applause.
That's what's up.
Applause.
That's what's
All right.
up.
Yeah, first and foremost, what is the Street Dance League? So it's basically a collaboration between off-street dance events within the Johannesburg community and Pretoria community. All right, we're not leaving that one out. So yeah, it's just a collaboration between those, and what it was inspired of is basically the lack of organizational structure within the community, and it's also nice to have ownership of what the community wants, and what the community needs. So it's literally everyone in the community. We have different street dance events, and we came together. We have the same vision, and we're like, okay, let's do something that's for the community and by the community. So that's what it's about.
Now, I heard you talking about it's been a need, it's been a necessity in the community. Why, and what necessity is it in the community? Because from what I'm hearing you saying, before this there was nothing in the street dance community.
Yeah, I mean, there were stuff happening, events there and there, but at the end of the day, it's all about ownership and getting back the resources back to the dancers, because it's about the dancers at the end of the day, you know. So we don't want to be charging too high prices, and and not having quality within. Yeah, so it's just about creating ownership and just giving back what the dancers have created and for the community, you know what I'm saying? So, and bringing the rest of the world to Africa and creating a collective consciousness and, goal and idea within the street dance community. That's what it's all about.
Okay, so what inspired y'all coming together? And the reason I'm asking this is because I feel that the street community hasn't been popping for a long time, from someone just observing, watching everything on the outside. It's something that hasn't been popping for a long time. Why do you think that is? Why do you think there's been this gap that you guys have filled?
Yeah, I think just to be honest about it, I mean, we are all friends and boys, so every time when we're chatting, we're always like, asking how can we make things better. We're always complaining and we're like, oh, this should be like this should be like that. But we're like, okay, instead of complaining, let's actually, because we are street dancers within the community, we guys that used to compete and stuff like that. So we're like, let's find something that can actually be a solution to the problems that we have. So let's come together and be the sacrificial lambs, if that's the word to put it. So we're sacrificing ourselves because we still need to be dancing and entering competitions. But we're like, you know what, these are the needs that the community has. But instead of complaining about it, let's do something about it, because we actually are dancers within the community. So I think that's what it was inspired about, and just a lack of organizational structure within the dance scene within South Africa. Okay,
so what structure? What structure? I'm taking it there's more than one competition in this league. Explain that to me.
All right, I think the best person to explain that would be Dareem.
Mr. 108 movement right here. There you go.
How you doing, Marlon?
I'm great, brother.
Even me, I'm great. All right. All right, so basically, the league, what we focus on is mainly solo battles, right? And we've created a point system with it so that it's not just constant competing, win over there, win over there, win over there, and then at the end of the day, there's no end result to it. Now, what we decided to do is we put in a point system. So if you place third within the specific genres that will be mentioned a bit later, well, just now, and in certain competitions, if you place third, you get 3 points. If you place second, if you place third, you get 1 point. If you place second, that's 2 points. And if you place first, that's 3 points for you. Now, all your points, you have to, basically all the contestants have to accumulate these points throughout the year. And at the end, they get invited to a final event where we see who the top is at the end of the day, so that we actually have a goal for what they've been doing throughout the year.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
I get you. Give me more of a breakdown, because like I'm coming from a place where I can't understand already, but there's someone out there that wants to be part of the league, that wants to fully understand, okay, what is this league all about? How do I become a part of it? And how does it all work? So like you explained that there's different competitions, right?
That's correct.
So if there's different competitions and all these point systems, whatever, work out, is there like an end goal? What's the end goal of this league?
I think Mr. Triple C will have this for this one, yeah?
Okay, Mr.
Okay, well,
Tell us,
that's
Sipho
good. All right.
Benjamin.
So, okay, like the guys have said, we have a lot of street competitions that run throughout the year, right?
Okay.
What we decided to do was focus on the certain competitions that have the same goals or have the same genres of dance within
And
them,
ideals,
right?
yeah, I get you.
So what we decided to do was get each person who has a dance comp by themselves, put these things together, and then have an end goal for a winner to win something at the end, right?
Okay.
Because essentially we ran it like ideas. We took from, like, if you look at the Premier League soccer, for example, this might be easier to explain for people.
Yeah.
If you look at the English Premier League, there's 20 teams. Each team play each other a couple of times.
Yeah.
End of the day, whoever accumulates the most points wins the league,
Yeah.
right? So what we tried to do was, at every single competition, you can stand a possibility of winning, coming second or coming third.
Yeah.
So whoever accumulates the most points, to say, we have a competition where those winners, or the people who accumulated the most amount of points, we get 8 people from each section, and they basically get to stand a chance to win a massive prize that we have in the last competition, right?
Okay.
So the last competition will be an accumulation of every competition that's happened throughout the year.
Okay.
So yeah, that
Okay,
is
nice.
kind of how we go about it.
And another thing, is anyone open to this competition? Like, just say I'm a kid on the street, I've never competed before, I hear about this league. Is it open to me?
Theo, do you want to take this one?
Mr. Cap City himself,
Shout
Theo.
out. Yeah. So this competition is basically, like, as I referred to Paul, we're doing this for the community because it's by the community. So it's basically open to anybody and everybody in the scene that's active and also wants to just have fun and compete. So yeah.
Okay. I keep hearing the scene. What is the scene?
You want me to answer that?
Anyone,
give it
go
to
for it,
Paco.
go for it.
The scene. Well, I can put it in a sense that, okay, where I come from, the scene is something that you create and you build. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? So giving back to the scene and growing the scene is something that, you know what, okay, guys, you know what's happening? We're doing this league, obviously, yeah. So obviously in 5 years from now, the scene, which is the league, will obviously get to the point where we have like international competitors, not judges, competitors coming in to enter, because there's a big reward, not really reward, but a bigger market to reach at the end of the league. So the scene is us growing what we've created.
Okay,
That's what
cool.
it is, yeah.
I like that. And for a kid, back to Theo, if a kid wants to be part of it, do they register? Do they register per competition, or do they register for the league? How does this work?
No, understand that we're still in the beginning phases of the league. So for now, like, you just enter possibly on the day, or it just depends on which competition.
By
you're doing.
competition.
Yeah, so by competition. There's no online for the actual league. You never know, but soon. Yeah.
Okay. Now I want you guys to to explain what makes this league different from any other league that's out there. Like what makes the league different from any other organization that's doing competitions? You know what I'm trying to say? What makes the Street Dance League? What separates it from everything else that's out there?
Fubu. I'm serious. Fubu.
Fubu.
Yeah. Fubu.
For you by you.
No.
For
you by us.
Oh, for you by
Yeah,
us.
Fubu.
Okay.
So in other words, exactly what Paul said earlier on. From the community for the community. So we're taking and giving back. Because I mean, a lot of competitions out there just take and take. You'll never see them at outings. You'll never see them at socials. But yet they run the biggest competitions for everyone to enter. So I had a chat with someone with dreads, Nick Nax. I'm not going to say his name, but anyway. No, I'm joking. And truth be told is there is so much money on entry fees. Hence I said the 350 early on. Real joke. There's so much money on entry fees that certain people, where it actually started, where what we're pushing actually started, can't even enter. But it's a bigger platform than what they're pushing. In other words, someone from the hood won't be able to get into a competition for 350. They got better things to do for 350 or 300 rand or however much 100 rands they have to enter a competition, as opposed to just okay, I'm going to do this to go forward, as opposed to, no, man, it's 30 rand or 80 rand or whatever. I can do without something for the week, but enter this competition because I know for a fact that what separates me and everybody else is opportunity.
Yeah.
Everybody have the same ideas.
Yeah.
Hence, we came together as a collective to push something.
Yeah.
But what separates us from everybody else is opportunity.
Yeah.
So now, if that's what we are creating opportunity for talents to come out there, because we are so sick and tired. Okay, I don't know if I speak for everybody, but I'm so sick and tired of always looking overseas to be on some, okay, yo guys, what's the next move? Okay, cool, that's the new swag, is the swag. Stuff that. We have enough, whatever we have to create here in Africa. Yeah. Why do you always have to look overseas? But it's because not enough opportunities are being put out there for people to actually go out and express themselves. They have to do it in the sense that in a way that it's free. And when something is free, without you knowing, that's the difference between a billionaire and a millionaire. A billionaire will look at something that's free as worthless because there's nothing valuable to go and gain from something free. But a millionaire will think, okay, that's free, so I can actually get more people in it to promote what it is that I'm promoting. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So when something is free, it's more of on the tip of what have you got to give that I don't really have. If you put all the time in it, but you are offering it for free. Yeah. But if you put a price tag to it, that means there's something very valuable. You work towards the fact that, okay, clearly what you're offering is very valuable. Like I said, so the where we're going wrong in this industry is that people put the price so high that the people that want to actually go and express themselves and actually gain something can't even enter. So they were like, okay, well, what's the point? And guys, let's just all come together.
So are you basically saying that the league breaks that boundary? As in we catering for people that come from where we come from.
That's what's up. But that's what I'm saying. Exactly what you said. You said it best. We catering for people who come from where we come from. Hence, from the community for the community. That's what it's about. Because now we can't be on some, okay, cool, from the community for the community, but we are charging 500 rand. Well, we can't even afford 500 rand for ourselves. I'm like, what the hell? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I get you.
Yeah.
And in terms of quality, okay, because I attended Cap City. When I mean quality, I'm talking about hip hop dance quality here. You know, I'm not talking about any other dance style that's out there. Okay, this is specifically for hip hoppers, right? When we're talking about quality, right? What can we expect from the league?
Well, I can't really speak for the competitors themselves because, you know, I don't train with them or anything like that. Even I might train with some, but not all of them. Yeah. But what we've done as the league is we've allowed ourselves to enter competitions except for our own as pacemakers.
Explain that to me. So,
for instance, example actually would be like Formula 1. where they would have a racer that's not racing, but they set the times.
I get that.
So just pretty much.
Or Tour de France has the same type, like proper pacemaking. Okay.
Yeah, just to pretty much set the standard of the times that that's the time to beat as all of the races.
Or that's the level.
That's
to
the
beat.
level. Yes. So
okay.
We all trying to enter all of the comms outside of our own.
Okay.
Just
to
so
keep yourself sharp as well, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
That too, because at the same time, as much as we are pushing this thing, we are still learning and growing, and you can't really halt that by diving too much into this and then actually losing the love of the dance, because we're still young at the end of the day. We're not like, we're not like, old ass people. We're legit still young. We're still learning the art form and perfecting it ourselves. So the moment we take ourselves out of it, it does stop our growth to some extent. So we try to keep ourselves, again, we're the community ourselves. So if we give into the community must also give to us as well. So it's like a give and take the whole time. So yeah, that's pretty much what we've done in regards to keeping the standard and the quality high.
Oh, dope. Another thing I noticed from attending one of the competitions as well is there was no age groups. There were no age groups in the competition. Every other competition that I've been to, like coming up, there's age groups, so you get 15, 16 and under, whatever, Why have you guys done that? Like, why have you structured that way? Because if I'm a kid that's 6, and I'm trying to be a houser, right? And I go up against a guy like Paul that's probably a veteran. I can call you a veteran now, my friend. But kids look up to you like a veteran. You know what I'm saying? We might not, but kids do, and they're going up a guy that probably coaches them. How does a kid do that? Like, why have you guys structured it that way?
Okay, I chose to answer this question because I travel around the world a lot. So does Paul, so does the other guys, hopefully getting chances to travel now.
Yeah.
What you see around the world is the level is so high with the kids, right? So what we've tried to do is give an opportunity for kids to be like, okay, I'm here, but if I compete with someone like Paul, I can maybe lose, but what I'm gaining is way more valuable than maybe competing against someone my level who's just started dancing. Okay. So in every single competition that we have a newcomer section, right? So the newcomer section is for anyone who's never entered a battle before.
Okay.
Right? So in other competitions, they might call it like something else, but basically your starting level of dance.
Okay.
For anyone who's never entered a competition, we have a section called the newcomer section in every single one of the competitions that we have where they can enter. If they win that, then they advance.
Now explain that to me. How does that work? How do you win the newcomer section?
Okay, so
how do you grade the value or who's good and who's not?
Okay, so the newcomers compete with themselves. They do not compete with the other dancers.
Okay.
And they are basically forced to pick one style that they've been training in, and they would compete in that style. They'll do that style throughout every single round until they get to the final. Right?
Okay.
The winner of that section and the winner of the following competition in that section, they have a battle against each other, if I'm correct.
So
yes.
just to clear that, if there's a houser on this side,
yes,
a popper on this side,
yes,
a popper sticks to their popping, houser sticks to their housing.
Yes. So what makes this a fair plane, I guess if you call it that, is in the first round we would play the houses, as you explained it, the houses music.
Yeah.
Right. So the popper would have to pop.
Okay.
To that music, and the house dancer would do what the house dancer does. In the second round, would play popping music. The popping dancer would obviously do what he does. The house dancer would do what he or she does to that music.
Okay.
Right? The winner of that advances.
Do you judge them on the level of understanding of the style that they're doing as well? I'm asking this because I wouldn't find it fair if I was competing against someone who's another style and I'm like, okay, how are they judging us? Like, explain that. How does the judging system work?
The nice thing about the league is we are not the only people involved in judging, right?
Okay.
We have done a thing of picking a panel of judges that we believe are the best trained in their individual sections of dance.
You want to shout them out?
There's lots of them. You'll see them throughout the year.
Okay.
But basically, all those judges are then asked to sit on the panel to judge these kids, right? Whoever we get on, we'll probably have 4 judges in each thing. those 4 judges will be well versed in all their styles. So they'll be able to see we're working, looking at the understanding of the dancer, how they react to music that's not necessarily their own. So because there's 2 rounds, it actually is an even playing field, because you do get a chance to do what you do really well and then a chance to adapt. Right? So what we're doing is we're looking at your understanding of adaptation and your understanding of how you transfer your skill to music. Right? So later on, when they get to actually a popper versus a popper, for example, now we can start looking at specific technique, like, okay, do you really understand how to do a pop or whatever? Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Okay, if you're just joining us, we're on Authentically Dope right here on Street and Capped. We got Paul Lutando in the house. We got Benjamin over here. We got Daram Dipashan. We got Theo. We got Paku Butombo in the house. We got Rome right here. And we basically talking about the Street Dance League, this new movement that has just hit South Africa, you know. From following you guys, I've also noticed that, okay, anything that happens in South Africa, and I'm talking from a foreign point of view, anything that happens in South Africa, the rest of Africa looks to and says, okay, that's what they're on, that's what we need to be on. Unless you're from Nigeria, which is leading right now. But even they come this side, But even they come this side to shoot videos. If we talking about the music industry and stuff like that, how do you guys see this developing? Because I know you started with Gauteng, is it something that you'd like to see the whole of South Africa take part in, or do you guys just want to keep it Gauteng? What's the plan moving forward?
All right, we're all from South Africa, you know. Not only Johannesburg and Pretoria as well. You know, we know people in Cape Town. So
Angola, we have Angola here.
And Angola, yeah.
And we have Congo, and we have Congo
you
here.
know what I'm saying?
Zim shout out, we here.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it could have. Not that it was easy. We could have said, okay, we want to add Cape Town, we want to add PE, we want to. That's the main goal. But we need to get the blueprint right first in Johannesburg and Pretoria. And once that model is right, we do the same thing in Cape Town. We do the same thing in PE. We do the same thing in Durban. We do the same thing in SA. We do the same thing in Zim. We do the same thing in. You get the story. That's the whole thing. It's just about cutting the borders. But now we're cutting the borders around South Africa first, get everything right within Johannesburg. And then from there on, keep the same blueprints throughout the whole of Africa. And yes, we want to, cut down the borders with every other African nation or country within Africa and have, all the different dance genres and dance style coming up. I mean, Nigeria is killing it in terms of breaking. Uganda, is killing it. There's a whole lot of poppers in Uganda. So I think Battle of the Year, there's a qualifier in Uganda, if I'm not Nigeria, Uganda. Yeah, so Zim is coming up. There's a whole lot of countries within Africa where the styles and the scenes and the quality is actually going up. So I think hopefully that answers your questions in regards to that.
Paku, you wanted to say something?
No, you actually.
Okay, nice. Now, I get that you guys are doing pace making in the competition and all that there, but if I'm a kid that sees that level, right? How do I get to that level? Like, okay, so I saw Sipo doing crazy housing. Like, how do I get to that level? Yes, there's YouTube, but we all know that working face-to-face or getting trained face-to-face works better than... You can't ask a screen a question, or I'm seeing that move, but I'm not getting it. Like, what advice would you give kids out there in terms of training methods? And I'd like to go through the different styles of the competition, and while we're talking about the different styles, talk about the training methods for each style.
I don't know if anyone wants to answer. Can I just put one point on regards to that? So hip hop is a social thing. Okay. You can only learn so much from a screen. Yeah. You need to make this whole social this thing social. So it all goes back to community. Okay. We're not out of reach. You know what I'm saying? So if I see Sipo doing something, I go and ask. He's not out of reach. I go and ask him, "Yo, Sipo, can I learn this?" It's all about the social aspect of the thing. You can only learn so much from looking at something in terms of YouTube and all of that. So cats need to travel more. I'm learning how to DJ, like the aspects of DJing from someone from Barry, from someone in Cape Town. I'm traveling. Other people are also traveling. So it's just it all comes back to community and making this whole thing social.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
On that note, for everyone that's listening, we put in all their handles out there. So if you guys want to get a hold of them, if you guys want to check out what these guys are about, you can contact them, DM them, whatever, do the right thing, but you can get hold of them, okay?
I think adding on to that, with regards to how to get better, how to get yourself onto that level, easiest way to do it is, number one, patience, because it requires a lot of patience and repetition. Patience and repetition, you're only going to get better. The more you do something, the better you get at it, because you're not going to get better if you just do it once and then that's it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And I always tell everybody, the one thing you have to remember is, what are you doing to be better than the person next to you? If I'm going to say, I always use boxing for this, like as a way to explain it. For example, Sipo and I, we're going to box each other soon, right? And if he, I'll take you down. Right?
Oh, man.
If he punches, if he trains 5 times a week, right? 5 times a week, and I train once a week, who's going to win that fight at the end of the day? The person that put in more time.
Of course.
Because that person's more patient, is repeating the same things, doing it more and more, and only getting stronger and really developing themselves. So basically, patience and repetition. That's it.
Got you.
Okay, so I'm going to jump onto your other question that you did ask mid-question into your question. We have decided to take 4 styles, right? Popping, house, breaking, and what was the last one? Hip hop. Okay. So, amongst us, the judges, and everyone else that's involved in competing, right? We all train most of these styles. So, if you are trying to get better, we have things that lead up to competitions, right? Those are called ciphers. Right now, we have ciphers at many different places. I know I work with Paku and another guy, Vokes, where we do a connect sessions where people can just come through, train with people that they're not used to training to, because a lot of people nowadays belong to dance studios, so they don't necessarily always get access to.
Yeah, I remember a time where there was no dance studios. Oh, I'm just speaking from my side. Right? You know what I mean? Like, so I remember a time when you'd be like, okay, how do I get onto this? And there you go.
So like we said with the whole community thing, we did not learn from studios. Well, I didn't personally. Maybe some other guys did. Yeah. But the nice thing, like Paul said, is no one is out of reach. So because our judges are mostly these people and other people that are around our age, we're not too far away. We're not 60-year-olds where you feel intimidated, right? At these ciphers, we're there. We're practicing. Yeah. If you want something, you come ask. We will help for free.
Where do these ciphers happen, though?
Different places. I mean, Kryptonite.
I heard you talking about the Connect.
Okay, so the Connect is something that a group of us started, and those are sessions that usually happen every Friday. We've taken a break for a while. We'll be back. Okay. But anybody can come through. You just walk in. It's in Braam. We usually host them outside the Puma store. And anyone is welcome to come through.
The Puma store in Braam?
Yes. Okay. But right now we've stopped. We'll be back soon. But everyone hosts their own studio. I mean, Kryptonite, for example, they Rome teaches there sometimes, and they offer their space for people to just come and practice. Okay. And that does not require any money or nothing. You just have to get there.
And come session.
So, yeah.
Oh, nice. Can I
add on to that? Okay. I think in addition to all of that, I remember watching a documentary. I don't even remember who it was by, but they said this: there's 2 types of dancers, right? There's street dancers, and there's professional dancers. Now, most people get caught up with that word professional. What the guy explained was this: a professional dancer learns everything in a studio. A street dancer learns everything in ciphers and socials, because they're not in a professional environment trying to learn something.
Crazy.
And I think that's where we all come up from at the end of the day. We literally all street dancers. And I always tell people, like, nowadays everybody has a title. I'm a choreographer, an artist, and this. I'm like, you're a street dancer. You learned everything you know on the streets. That's the truth. Yeah. Don't run away from that. Be who you are at the end of the day. Yeah. So just getting that clear. The street dancer and professional dancer. Yeah. Okay, Paku Mutombo.
Yeah, Paku Mutombo, man. To just add on to what everybody has said. I mean, like, ask yourself this, whoever is listening to this, if you maybe tried to b-boy or whatever, have you ever tried to do a windmill on concrete? if your answer is no, then clearly you will not understand the concept of wanting to get something right, because you know you are working at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Bro, have you ever gotten blisters from your feet because
That's
you're trying to on your
That's
feet?
crazy.
Yeah. On your feet. From your Yeah, that's stupid.
guys
Yeah,
are great.
get blisters on your feet because your mentor is telling you, homie, do a windmill on concrete. That's how I learned. That's how I learned the discipline of, okay, yo, man, I cannot be soft at this thing.
Yeah.
If I want to do this right, I need to do it right from the beginning. Not, no, feel sorry for me, I'm still a kid. No, it's like, yo, homie, if I'm taking you under my wing, you are representing me every time you're dancing until you fly away with your wings have grown or whatever. But truth be told, whatever I'm teaching you is to grow you, and you become more determined by wanting to learn something that you don't know, as opposed to, hey, you know what, I actually don't know this, I'll try something else. Because that's what people are doing right now, especially when you come from studios. Most coming from the streets and it being exposed to studios, some studios, professional dancers, they're like, nah, son, I do this. I'm like, I know, cool, you do this, but do you know where this comes from? No, but then do your research and find out where this comes from so you understand it fully, so you can push it properly, as opposed to, no, I only choreograph because that's my thing. Okay, cool. How can you choreograph if you cannot freestyle?
Yeah.
That means that you watch videos and think, oh shit, I can do this, and then teach it to your kids, as opposed to going, understanding music and understanding frequency and freestyle, bringing out your own material to teach people. Yeah. But because you're like, nah, son, I'm a choreographer, I can just look at things and then just, create. You will never understand. Do you know what I mean? And that's the difference between the hunger that street dancers have compared to professional dancers who grow in studios.
Interesting.
Just got like one thing to say. Yeah, that too. So like there's just this quote that from Bruce Lee, he says, "Do you fear the man that knows 1,000 kicks, or do you fear the man that practiced one kick 1,000 times?" And legit, right now, I think to some extent people are just trying to get what's next. They're trying to get 1,000 kicks. They're trying to get 1,000 kicks, and not that it's a bad thing, but if you just learn something and then you move on and you move on and you move on and you move on, and outside of that, there's people who like are natural dancers and they can pick up on something very quickly, but if they don't understand it, it will not necessarily. It would not work for them, if that makes sense. So if you practice every single thing, like to the T, repetition is key. And that's just one thing that I wanted to mention in regards to the whole training aspect is, it doesn't matter how well you did it the first time, you can always make it better. And that's just the best way to actually be creative. And Yes.
Okay, so from what I'm getting from you guys, right? Because you guys are all about street dance, and I get that, right? But if I'm a kid that just happens to be in a studio, right? I never came from no streets. I just happen to be in the studio. Am I at a disadvantage?
No. Okay, wait, hold on.
Like am I at a disadvantage on what is authentic and what isn't authentic, like authentically dope?
Okay. No, to answer that, it's very hard. It's a yes and no question. It depends on who's training at the studios. There is a lot of people that are faking it, but sometimes they don't make it though. Sometimes they don't make it because you'll find that people have studios or they have those resources to open up a studio, and legit they see that as their end goal, and they're not faking it till they make it because they're just gonna fake it forever. That's their end goal. Just owning a studio, teaching people, and being like, yeah, these are my kids. Whatever they do out there, it's because of me, regardless of what it is.
But when you say fake it, what do you mean by faking it?
So, for my previous thing is this.
What is faking it?
Faking it is not respecting the process. I feel like a lot of people don't respect the process, but yeah. So, I won't say that you be at a disadvantage joining studios. There are studios that have great
what's
teachers.
the process? I just want to get deeper in this. Let's get deeper into this.
Just a quote,
Yeah.
and then we'll get back. All right. If you know one page in the Bible doesn't make you a Christian. Yeah. So just think about that.
Knowledge
quickly.
dropped.
Okay, there's also something that I learned that you can actually take something from everybody. So if anything, even if someone does not necessarily teach the right things, per se, there's always a lesson to be learned. And if anything, if us as teachers, when I say us, I mean like in a broad aspect, if we could at least teach that, everything else that we teach won't necessarily matter that much, because to some extent, what's being taught to the next, they will always know that, okay, this could be wrong, this could be right, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. Does it fit into the understanding of whatever I'm learning, or does it not? So outside of styles, outside of legit, what is the street saying, what is the what's the other thing, the studio saying, whatever the case may be, as long as the mindset is properly groomed, how they dance and all of that stuff is almost meaningless to some extent, because what actually matters is if they understand what they're doing.
Okay.
Because the moment you understand what you're doing, you're able to grow yourself.
Okay. Now.
You still wanted to add something? Are you good now?
No, you good.
Now, I like what you said, but I'm a kid. I just watched Step Up. I just watched Moose. No. I'm just giving an example. We all know I'm grown, but you see this kid. He's just watched Step Up. In his mind, that is street, because Step Up is telling him that's the streets. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And I find a studio, I don't know what's real and what's not. Do you know what I'm trying to say? How do I distinguish, this isn't real, because my teacher's telling me, oh, this movie's from Step Up. I want to learn that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? How does someone say, or how do they distinguish, I don't know if this is real or not. This isn't real. This is real. How does that work?
How do you prepare your food, man?
You cook it.
How do you prepare your food? How do you like your food to be served? After you prepared it yourself, or after you get given it by someone who's worked for it? Most of the times, you get it because somebody has worked for it.
That's true.
It's the same thing with hip hop.
That's true.
You will look at a studio and be, okay, cool. They provide this thing, so I'm gonna go there because they're gonna give me what will quench my thirst.
Yeah.
It's only after you do your research that you realize, okay, whoa, I know this movie is cool, which has brought me into the industry. But now that I see a future in this, I'm going to do my own research to see what is real. So I agree with everything he said, that there's no bad studio. It's the teachers. The teachers need to teach the right things. Although,
are you saying that teachers just basically need to do more research on whatever they're teaching?
But that's the thing. You see, I can go on forever, bro. It becomes a pride thing that, yo, son, my name is Paku Mutombo, bro, so I can't learn anything more. What I know now is what it is. Well, on the contrary, yo, homie, underground, there's more things that are coming out that you will also be.
Day.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Every
that you
day.
will not be, you won't be able to teach because you are not in it. So you being that person that, okay, cool, this is what the Bible, wow, this is what the book says, and this, that, so that's it. You will not be in tune with the new things that are coming up.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I get you.
So it's up to the teachers to be well equipped with, although everything is online and all that stuff, because I mean, let's face it, YouTube has turned this world into one country.
True.
Do you know what I mean? You by the talks of your fingers and thumbs, you can go into Japan and Korea at any time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but it's up to you to actually be on something, okay, cool, this is interesting, but let me find out more. So if anybody comes up who does the same research that I do, wants to learn about it, I can actually provide that service. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Got you.
And that's basically what it's about.
I'm gonna just jump in on that, Marlon.
Yeah.
So essentially, the way I look at it is, okay, let's say you're in primary school.
Yeah.
right? You get fed information.
Yeah.
You don't know whether it's right or wrong.
Wrong.
You're not really going to
But you're taught to know it.
Yeah, you're not going to question it, right? Then you get to high school. Then the teachers are like, okay, what you learned at primary school was right to an extent, right? Then you get to university and they're like, yo, everything you learned in...
Out the window.
Yeah, forget it, right? So it's that type of thing. When a kid starts, you're not expecting him to have the mindset of, I need to go research, because he's a kid. He's just doing what he sees and what he loves. So for me, whenever I look at kids, I don't expect them to be out here searching. There are a couple who do, but that's not what I'm expecting from the masses. They're going to learn what they want to learn, right?
Gotcha.
If they decide to pursue, that's when we can bring in all the elements of what is it that you want to know, right? I was popping long before I knew I was popping. I didn't know what I was doing.
I can testify
I walked in,
to
I
that.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
and then someone was like, hey, you dance like Wiggles. And I was like, what's a Wiggles?
Who's Wiggles?
Right? No, I mean, that's exactly what happened to me. And I went online and I was like, okay, who's Mr. Wiggles? And then I was like, oh,
If
okay.
only Wiggles knew how many guys he's inspired.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, what it is
Shout out.
when you want to do more, that's when it comes to, okay, where do I actually go to search? And that's not to say that whatever your primary school teacher taught you was wrong.
Yeah.
They just gave you a piece of the
Milk.
puzzle.
They gave you milk. And then
Exactly.
you had solids. I get you.
That's exactly
I
how
get you.
yeah, I mean, it's just
I get
furthering
you.
yourself in what you actually want to know and how you're going to go about finding it.
I get you.
I'm with you, Sipo, like 100%. The thing about that is I have this thing with POSC. They say I always say, you know what? If you go around the world, 1 + 1 = 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in other words, it's a universal language. What other universal languages are there? Dance. Do you know? Although if you're doing dance for the fun of it or you're taking it seriously, at least know the fundamentals that come with it.
Fundamentals are fundamentals.
Do you know what I'm saying?
basics are
So
basics,
obviously,
I
which
got
means
you.
1 + 1 = to do it right. No matter, even if you're joking.
Yeah.
If I'm joking with him, like, yo, 1 + 1, at the end of the day, I know, you see?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's 2.
Yeah.
Although he's saying 11, but I know
It's
it's
two.
2.
Yeah.
So that's what boils down to with the teachers. Teachers need to know that. Obviously, like all this phenomenal things that the people do and stuff, is to attract.
Yeah.
People will come to studios to be on some, yo, Theo, man, I saw you do that at freaking African Cypher, so teach me that. Yeah, you just caught a student. Cool, this is what it is. He learns it. But now, by the way you teach them, they're going to want more.
Yeah.
Because they will not just be on some, okay, thanks, Theo, cheers. No. Because you've struck a nerve that was already there before, but what didn't have a purpose to be lit. Now, by seeing you, you're like, okay, yeah. Now, let me find out exactly what is going on. And it's up to you to have a certain way of teaching to draw them in without knowing that you're actually drawing them in, without them knowing that you're actually drawing them in. And by the time they end, they'll realize, like, oh, snap, I need to actually learn more because now I see opportunity with what it is that I'm doing. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I get it.
Just one more thing. Just in regards to that, like, you must just remember, like, with let's look at schools. There's open days and stuff like that for schools, and also just generally when people apply, they apply to either various schools or just one because it might have been their dream or whatever the case may be. But if they apply to various schools, they're not really sure what they want, but they just, okay, let me see if I'm going to get accepted by all of these things, and then from there, see which one fits with what I want to do or who I am or whatever the case may be. And sometimes they could all offer the same thing.
Yeah.
But because maybe this is not as done as well as there or as there or as there as there, I'm not going to go to this one. So for instance, let's just say amongst all of us, we all own a studio. We all offering all of the styles. But for instance, Theo is dope at house. Paku's dope at popping. You know, Paul is dope at
Everything.
whatever. You know, something. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And then
yeah,
if someone's
yeah.
like, okay, I can learn all of these styles from all of them, but what style do I want to do? Maybe I've always wanted to be a popper, so which one has the best popping? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just generally, as much as we can't expect people to do research, it is a thing that must happen. And if it's not happening from the kids themselves, it should happen from the people who are putting them into that space. So obviously, be it their parents, be it their uncles, cousins, whatever the case may be, whoever's actually saying you should go learn this or pursue this further or I need to put you in a whatever type of environment where you can nurture this talent or the thing that you want to do. They should be doing research about it.
I got you.
Can I just, I mean, like, just to finish off, word. Yeah. I mean, like, we all know, I always said, not knowing. I always said, you know what, schools one day are going to become old school. Not to be fun or anything, but through my research, I realized, okay, cool, schools have been old school for a long time. It's a Prussian system. And in Russia, obviously, Russia now, they've realized, okay, yo, dude, getting a teacher to teach kids things doesn't work. It's up to you to be interested in something. As a teacher, I must interest you to do your own research. You can come back to me and say, yo, son, I want to learn this. What is this about? Which puts the student and the teacher in a place of consistent learning of something. But where there's a hierarchy of, I'm the teacher, so you the student, you must learn from me, is when, how can I put this? Now, actually, do you ever see students teachers at workshops?
Nah.
No. Why? Well, no. I'm not talking about you guys. Well, obviously, we kings, man. I'm talking about those other motherfuckers, the peasants. They end up... They end up not going to workshops because, no, son, I can't let my kids who I teach see me struggle. But if you have a relationship with your students, that whatever they bring you fire back, and it becomes how can I put this?
Iron sharpens iron.
Yes, and you grow with that. You will not feel bad for struggling if you're in the same class with your students. You won't, because you know, hey man, I'm still learning. You are learning. We are learning together. But because we have this whole Prussian system that a teacher is a teacher, or ordained by God or whatever, that you end up being that person that will put your pride first and not actually learn more or teach the right way, because we are being told that no, whatever Sipo is saying, or Paul or Darim or Theo or Rome is saying is right, while you're actually supposed to take that and say, okay, cool, no doubt, let me go find out what is going on, and then come back and say, but sir, you said this, but then what? That's how things are supposed to be happening. But because we're still stuck with the Prussian system in this country, we don't understand that, no, homie, I'm here to influence you, to do your own research. So you come back to me to show your interest. So I will show my interest back, so we grow together as a unit. And that's what's missing in this country.
Interesting. Paul, you wanted to say something?
Nah, I'm good. Everything has been said.
One more thing. This is something that I've seen happen time and time again over the years that I've been in the industry. Is you have people that constantly say, that's wrong, that's right, that shouldn't be done, that can be done, right? And do you not think that also hinders the growth, like you just said? Do you think because hip hop is creativity, guys? It comes from creativity, you know. That's it. Every style that's there has come from creativity. So am I wrong in saying that, or am I wrong in saying that's right and that's wrong, because maybe it's just evolving?
There's nothing new under the sun. You know, I don't feel there's anything right or wrong, especially in hip hop. You can't box hip hop and be like, yo, this is, you know, especially when it comes, let's look at DJing in hip hop. I'm not talking about dancing. All right. There's some people that are like, no, the analog way is the right way to play. No, you need to use a controller.
Yeah.
All right. It's evolving. You know, we need to take and learn from each other. There's nothing new under the sun.
And it's also the youngest form of music and dance.
Yeah. So it's like saying, like, now when people are like, oh, this, personally, when people are like, oh, these kids are doing too much trap and all that, or back in the 80s, Africa Bombarded and all those guys used to wear leather pants and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Skinny as
that's
hell.
my personal approach. But for me, I don't think there's a right way and a wrong way. But I mean, you need to learn the elements of the actual thing.
I
don't know if anyone else wants to touch up on that.
I got you. Okay, that's crazy. Like, I respect this. Shout out to this, the Street Dance League. Shout out to our camera guys, Matt
Thank you,
Matt.
Matt.
Thank you guys. You guys are killing this. You guys are killing this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, it's been a pleasure having you here. It's been a pleasure. We put in all the stuff out there. People need to know what's going on. You know what I'm trying to say? Now, where can people get hold of you guys? Like, where can people catch on what's happening in ciphers? Like, where ciphers are happening? Where can people catch on what's happening in the league? What competitions to catch in the league? Where can we get this information from?
Personally, I'm not going to give out my handles and stuff like that. So if you want to get in touch with the community, come out to the community. We're not unreachable. And I don't know if the other homies want to give out their handles and stuff like that. It's all good.
Yo, you can follow. No, I'm messing around. Look, man. Look, nearly everybody knows everyone.
Yeah.
Like Paul said, the community. Yeah. So,
Got you.
Our stuff will be dropped somewhere here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So follow anyone's Facebook. Most of the stuff we retweet. There's different WhatsApp groups that actually have all the information for all the competitions that come up in every style of dance. There's Instagram handles that you can follow. So yeah, man, it's like we said from the beginning. Do your research on the stuff. You'll know where to go.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
shout out.
Super Bin
It's
Jam.
been mad having you guys. That is another edition of Authentically Dope. Thank you so much. Shout out to you guys. It's been real. Let's keep this movement going.